I'm Layla. Standing in the Buenos Aires hotel lobby, I read the text message 3 times. We're cutting you loose. Your company card is canceled. Figure out how to get home yourself, loser. The marble floor beneath my feet felt more solid than anything in my life at that moment. Each letter on the small screen of my phone was like a tiny knife stabbing at my heart. I didn't cry. I didn't throw my phone. I just stood there as people passed by, speaking Spanish and dragging their luggage, living their normal lives while mine seemed to be falling apart. Slowly and carefully, I typed back, "Thank you for letting me know." Then I sat down on a cushioned bench near the entrance, trying to catch my breath. How did I end up here, thousands of miles from home, with only $40 in my wallet and a text message that made me feel worthless? Let me take you back. I have a 7-year-old daughter named Lily. Her father left when she was 3 years old, saying he wasn't ready for the responsibility. It's just been the two of us, facing the world together. 4 years ago, I started working at Prestige Handbags. They make high-end luxury handbags, and the price of one bag could cover my monthly rent. I wasn't a fancy designer. I was a procurement coordinator. My job was to find suppliers for the materials we needed, like leather, hardware, and fabric. The pay was enough to keep a roof over our heads and food on the table, but not much more. My boss was a man named Victor. He was 48 years old, always wearing expensive watches and smelling of cologne that probably cost more than my weekly groceries. He got promoted to the head of our division 3 years ago, though I never understood how. He barely knew what we actually did. Victor liked to remind me of my place. Whenever I asked for a day off to take Lily to the doctor, he'd say, "You're lucky to work here. There are dozens of people waiting to take your place." What could I say? I needed that job. Lily needed clothes, food, and school supplies. So I endured his insults, dismissals, and the jokes about my way of speaking and dressing. 2 months ago, Victor called me into his office. "We have a problem," he said. "Our leather supplier in Argentina, the one for our spring line, is threatening to back out." "Why?" I asked. "How should I know? You're the one who deals with them," he replied, as if I was just a translator, not someone who built relationships and negotiated terms. I contacted the supplier that afternoon. His name was Diego. He ran a family-owned leather business outside Buenos Aires. 3 generations had been making the most exquisite leather I'd ever felt, soft yet strong and beautiful. Diego was frustrated. "Your company treats us like machines," he told me. "Last month, they wanted to pay less. This month, they want faster delivery, without even asking if we can do it." I said, "Let me see what I can work out." Over the next week, I put together a proposal with better payment terms, realistic delivery schedules, and a guarantee of consistent orders. Victor barely glanced at it. "Just go to Argentina and fix this. Make them happy. That's your job," he said. "When?" I asked. "Next week. You'll be there for at least 3 weeks, maybe a month, however long it takes." My heart sank. That was a long time to be away from Lily. "My daughter," I said. "Your daughter has family, doesn't she? Figure it out, Layla." "This is your job," he replied. The night before I left, Lily clung to my waist and cried, "Don't go, Mommy. Please don't go." I knelt down, holding her face in my hands. "I have to go to work, baby. Aunt Mia will stay with you. You love Aunt Mia." "But it's my birthday soon," she whispered. My heart broke. "I'll be back before your birthday." "I promise," I said. But I didn't keep that promise. I arrived in Buenos Aires on a Wednesday. The city was loud, vibrant, and overwhelming. I took the cheapest taxi to a hotel arranged by Victor's assistant. It was a bit shabby but clean. The next day, I met Diego at his workshop. It was outside the city, and I had to take a bus for almost an hour to get there. The building was old but well maintained. Inside, workers were stretching and treating leather, and the smell was sharp and earthy. Diego was 65 years old, with gray hair and strong hands. His wife, Carmen, managed the administrative side. She brought me tea and pastries as we talked. "Tell me what you need," Diego said. "I need you to keep working with us," I said honestly. "But I also need to know what's not working for you." We talked for hours about prices, schedules, and respect. The word respect kept coming up. Your boss, Diego said carefully. He speaks to us like we're nothing, like our work has no value. I know, I said quietly. He treats me the same way. Carmen looked at me with sympathy. Then why do you stay? She asked. Because I have a daughter to feed, I replied. She nodded, understanding. Over the next 2 weeks, I built a real relationship with Diego and his family, not just an agreement. We negotiated terms that worked for everyone. I explained what the company needed, and he explained what his workers could do. We found a middle ground. Diego started insisting on something unusual. I want you to be the person we deal with, not your boss, not anyone else. You, he said. I'm not in charge. I'm just the coordinator, I replied. Then we'll make you in charge of this arrangement. Every agreement and change must go through you. Otherwise, we won't work with Prestige handbags, he said firmly. I didn't understand at first. I thought he just preferred working with me. Later, I realized he saw that Victor was using my work and taking the credit. He wanted to protect what we'd built. Back home, Victor would message me at odd hours. Where's the contract? When will it be signed? What's taking so long? I'd explain that building trust takes time and rushing would ruin everything. But he'd respond with, I don't need excuses. I need results. Once, Victor joined one of my conversations with Diego via an internet call. It was a disaster. He interrupted constantly, made inappropriate jokes, and treated Diego like he was stupid. After he left the call, Diego said, That man doesn't respect anyone but himself. I'm sorry, I said. Don't apologize for him. You're not him, Diego replied. Lily's birthday came and went. I sent her presents and made a video singing happy birthday. Aunt Mia told me Lily cried when she opened them. She just wants you home, Layla, Mia said. I know, I whispered. Soon. Finally, after 3 weeks, we had everything ready. A full agreement, terms that made sense. A partnership that would bring Prestige handbags $12 million worth of materials over 2 years, enough leather for their spring collection, and more. Everyone would benefit. The signing was set for a Thursday morning. Diego wanted to do it properly, with his whole family present. I was genuinely proud of what I'd accomplished. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I'd done something meaningful. But then, on Wednesday evening, as I was checking if I had everything ready for the signing, my phone buzzed. The message from Victor appeared. We're cutting you loose. Your company card is canceled. Figure out how to get home yourself, loser. I stopped breathing. I read it again and again. No explanation, no warning. I checked my card. It was really canceled. I had only $40 in my wallet, and my return flight was booked using the company's travel account. I didn't know if that was canceled too. I was stranded in a foreign country. After 3 weeks of hard work, missing Lily's birthday, eating cheap street food to save the company money, and doing everything they asked, Victor called me a loser. My fingers moved on their own as I typed, Thank you for letting me know. I was in shock, my mind blank. I sat on the bench for what felt like hours. People passed by, and the hotel staff glanced at me, but said nothing. I kept thinking about Lily. How would I get home to her? Would I have to ask Aunt Mia to wire me money? The humiliation was almost as bad as the text message. Then something inside me shifted. It wasn't anger. It was a cold, clear determination. I looked at my bag. Inside was the folder with the unsigned $12 million agreement, the one that could save Prestige handbags spring season, and the one Diego refused to sign with anyone but me. I stood up, walked out of the hotel, and found my way to the bus stop. I took the bus back to Diego's workshop one last time. It was dark when I arrived. The lights were still on inside. Diego and Carmen were finishing up paperwork for the signing. When I walked in, Diego asked, Is everything all right? They fired me, I said flatly. My boss sent a message. He canceled my company card and told me to find my way home. Carmen covered her mouth, and Diego's face hardened. After all you've done, after 3 weeks of hard work, he said quietly. Where are you staying tonight? Diego asked. The hotel. I have enough cash for a couple of nights. I'll figure it out, I replied. Diego and Carmen exchanged a look, having one of those silent conversations that married people have. Then Diego turned to me. The signing tomorrow. What do you want to do? He asked. I realized he wasn't asking if the signing would happen. He was asking what I wanted. What do you mean? I asked. He gestured to the papers on the workbench. This agreement is in your name. You're the contact person and you approve everything. The company has to deal with you to get our leather. That's what we negotiated. But I don't work there anymore, I said. Exactly, Diego replied. So why would I sign with them? I slowly understood the weight of his words. The agreement was legally binding and I was the key to it. Without me, there was no deal. They'll send someone else. They'll try to renegotiate, I said. Let them try. I won't speak to them, and my family won't either. We built this relationship with you, not with that disrespectful man, Diego said. I asked about another company that had contacted them last month. Diego smiled, a sharp smile. Aurora Elegance. They've been calling us for almost a year, offering better terms. We always said no because of our agreement with Prestige Handbags. But now, Belmar has broken that trust. Would you really walk away from $12 million? I asked. The money isn't going away. It's just going to someone who respects us, Carmen said gently. Diego then mentioned that Aurora Elegance had asked if they knew anyone who could coordinate their international buying. I have someone in mind now, he said, meaning me. I can't. I need to get home and find another job, I said automatically. You need to stop letting people treat you like you're worthless, Diego said firmly. Your boss threw you away after you built something valuable for him. Don't go home and find another person who will do the same. I have a daughter. I need stable work. I can't take risks, I said. This isn't a risk. This is you taking what you've earned. You built this relationship. You did the work. Why should they benefit? Carmen said. I looked at the unsigned agreement in my hands. 3 weeks of my life, away from Lily, all those conversations and negotiations, and Victor had called me a loser. What would I need to do? I asked quietly. Diego's expression softened. Tonight, nothing. Stay here. We have a guest room. Tomorrow morning, I'll call Aurora Elegance. I'll tell them Prestige Handbags is no longer an option and introduce you to them. Then I'll call your old boss and tell him there will be no signing. He'll be angry. Good, I said simply. That night, I stayed in their guest room. It was small and clean, and the bed felt like a cloud compared to the hotel. Carmen brought me tea and empanadas and sat with me while I ate. My father used to say, when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Your boss showed you who he is. Don't give him a second chance, she said. I thought about that all night, about all the times Victor had shown his true colors and how I'd ignored it because I needed the job. The next morning, Diego made his calls. First, he called someone at Aurora Elegance. I could only hear his side of the conversation. Yes, this is Diego from Familia Santos Leatherworks. We spoke last month about a partnership. Is that still of interest? Good. I have someone you should meet. She's brilliant. She's the reason Prestige Handbags wanted to work with us. Now she's available. Then he called Victor. I sat in Diego's workshop, my hand shaking as he put the phone on speaker. Victor answered on the second ring. Diego, finally. I've been trying to reach you. Are we all set for this morning? No, we're not, Diego said. What do you mean? Victor's voice hardened. There will be no signing, no agreement. Familia Santos will not work with Prestige Handbags, Diego said. Is this about money? We can work something out, Victor said. This is about respect, something you don't understand, Diego replied. Wait a minute. I don't know what Layla told you, but she told me you fired her, Victor said. Diego interrupted. After she spent 3 weeks here building something good, after working harder than anyone I've seen, you threw her away like she means nothing. That's an internal company matter. It has nothing to do with our business, Victor said, his voice tight. It has everything to do with it. Layla was our arrangement. We negotiated with her. We trust her, not you. So, there is no deal, Diego said. You can't do this. We have a verbal agreement, Victor said. We have nothing. And now, I'm going to work with Aurora Elegance. They've been asking for a year. We said no because of our loyalty to Prestige handbags, but you weren't loyal to the person who made this possible. Goodbye, Diego said and hung up. I stared at Diego, my heart pounding. Did you really? I asked. Yes, he said calmly. Now let's talk about your new job. Aurora Elegance wanted to meet me that afternoon. Diego arranged everything. They sent a car with a driver. I'd been taking buses for 3 weeks, so it felt strange to be in a car. The Aurora Elegance headquarters was in a nicer part of Buenos Aires, with newer buildings and cleaner streets. I felt out of place in the clothes I'd been wearing for weeks. The woman who met me was named Isabella. She was about 47, wearing a sharp suit and with kind eyes. Diego speaks very highly of you, she said after we shook hands. Tell me about yourself, the real you, about Lily, about working at Prestige handbags and building relationships with suppliers. I told her about my struggles, about being stranded, and why I was still there. Because Diego made me realize I'm good at what I do, and I'm tired of people who don't see that, I said. Isabella smiled. Diego said you negotiated a $12 million agreement. Is that true? Can you do that for us? Yes, I said, meaning it. Then she asked me about my needs, salary, travel arrangements, and a flexible schedule for Lily. No one had ever asked me that before. I told her about wanting to be home for Lily, fair pay, respect, and the desire to build something meaningful. Done, Isabella said. When can you start? I need to get home first, see Lily, and explain what's happening. Then I can come back, I said. We'll arrange your flight today. When you're ready to return, we'll cover everything, housing, transportation, she said. I left the meeting feeling like I'd entered a new life, a life where I was valued. That evening, Victor called and texted over and over. I didn't answer. His texts were full of accusations, saying I'd sabotaged the company. I deleted them without reading. Then he tried to apologize, asking me to come back and fix things. I blocked his number. The next morning, Diego drove me to the airport and paid for my ticket. You earned this. You earned respect, trust, and a good job. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, he said at the departure gate. The flight home was the longest 13 hours of my life. I kept thinking about Lily, about holding her, and explaining why I'd missed her birthday. Aunt Mia picked me up from the airport. One look at my face, and she asked, "What happened?" I told her everything in the car. She kept glancing at me, as if checking if I was real. So you just walked away and got a better job, she said slowly. They threw me away. I just made sure they couldn't benefit from my work, I replied. Lily was asleep when I got home. I went to her room and sat on the edge of her bed. She looked so small and peaceful. I brushed the hair from her face, and she stirred. Mommy, she said, her eyes opening wide. She threw her arms around my neck and hugged me tightly. You're home, she said. I'm home, baby, and I'll never be away that long again. I promise, I said. She pulled back and looked at my face. Are you okay, Mommy? You look different. I'm better than okay. Everything's going to be better now, I said. That weekend, Prestige handbags tried to reach me.